Hi, today's video is about how a Jewish convert who is only starting a conversion process can learn how to daven and to pray. There are differences between the obligations of a woman versus a man, so I'm just going to start with literally the basics before you work on to the other parts of the prayers. For a woman, it's kind of easier. I would suggest you start with the Birkat HaShachar, the morning blessings, which you have to recite every day in the morning. It's kind of easier, so go over the translations and go over the Hebrew original. Try to say everything in Hebrew, even though it's going to take you a while to master the Hebrew. But because it's short, I highly recommend that you try to just, keep saying it, and eventually you'll be able to memorize all of it in Hebrew. After you are able to do that, you will probably be able to master a certain amount of Hebrew reading, and you can move on to Kriyat Shema. For the Shema Israel, you can go until Hashem Emet, and stop at Emet. That's basically 3 paragraphs approximately, and stop there and then move on to the Amidah, the Shmoneh Esrei. So that skips a lot of the, secondary part to the primary part of Shema. When you go to the Amidah, it's gonna take probably about half an hour or so for you to just do the Amidah when you get started, and it's okay. You don't have to do it every day in the beginning if half an hour is too much for you. But the most important thing is, you stick to the morning blessings, which you've already mastered, and then try to master Kriyat Shema. And after you're done with that, go on to the Amidah and do whatever you can to just add to it. So I think these are the key parts for a woman. For a man, is more. I would say you start with also the Birkat HaShachar, the morning blessings, until you master them. And also the Shema and the Amidah, just like I said before. But after you master those, I would recommend that you start with the Korbanot, with Tamid and Ketoret. These are the most important parts. And then you move on to Baruch Shamar, Ashrei, and then Hallelujah, Shirat Hayam. And then after all that, you do Ishtabach Adasof, until the end. So it's sort of building, one on top of the other until you're able to do those that I said before, and then Ishtabach until the end. If you find it too much, and there are times when it's, something you can't master, or you've taken too long and then the show is pretty much finished, of course you can revert back to just the basics of the Birkat HaShachar, Kriyat Shema and Amidah. But then eventually the more practice that, you can fit in, the more you'll be able to recite the other parts quicker, and eventually you'll be able to follow the shul pace, even if not fully. There are some people who, even if they're born Jewish, they don't follow the shul pace. The reason is that a lot of shuls, especially Chabad and Ashkenazi shuls, they daven much quicker than Sephardi shuls. Sephardim like to sing it out, so it sort of drags it out longer, and you can sort of follow and even make up for the parts that you were behind for. And it's fine. The most important part is to feel fine with it. And know that there are some key parts where you're supposed to maybe wait when the kahal, a minyan, is going through a phase, for example the phase of kedusha and Amidah, in which you have to stop your prayer and just stand and be silent if you can't answer it. So these are the basics, and I hope you get encouraged by the story of Rabbi Akiva, who started only to read Aleph Vei Gimel Dalet from when he was around 40 years old. And Rabbi Akiva is one of the biggest rabbis in the entire Jewish history. And if he can do it at the age of 40-ish, you can do it too. Shkoyach.